Hi, it's Andrea from Filthy Eden. Welcome to my kitchen. Excuse whatever mess there is. Today I'm going to do a short video on how to make raw apple cider vinegar. And in case you're wondering, why bother? Some of the health benefits to taking some raw apple cider vinegar daily. For me, I have a bad knee, and as long as I take a tablespoon a day of raw apple cider vinegar, it reduces the pain when I walk up and down stairs, and it does work. Also, my dad and my aunt have joint pain. They do it every day, and it seems to help them too. It also helps improve digestion, and that could be the reason that it helps regulate blood sugar. My aunt and my dad are both diabetics, so my aunt has reported that her blood sugar has actually gone down after she started taking the apple cider vinegar daily. There are a lot more health benefits than just the ones I've just told you about. If you're interested, Dr. Axe gives a full list on his website, but here I'm going to start in on making a batch here. So I'm only going to make a 32-ounce size jar. I'm going to start, that's all I'm going to do this time. You can do whatever size jar you want. You can use, like I have here, a mason jar, or you can just use a regular glass jar, but don't use plastic because the chemicals in the plastic could seep and leach into your vinegar as it ferments. So you definitely want to use glass. Okay, so what we start with here, I probably won't need more than 4 or 5 apples for this size jar. So we're going to start here. We're going to start peeling. And we're only going to use the peels and the cores from the apples. I've tried a batch using the meat because I wanted to try to use it all, and it went bad. I think there was too much sugar, and it went bad. It went moldy. So I save the meat now. Either I use it in pies or maybe some other kind of dessert you like to make. I use it in my juicing. So I'm going to get all these peeled and cored. And okay, so I'm on my last apple here, cutting the cores out so I can throw them in, putting them in the lemon water to keep them from turning brown so that I can save them for juicing for later. So yeah, and it only took about 4 small apples. And I recommend using organic apples because apples are one of the most contaminated fruits, of the fruits or vegetables, conventionally sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, that kind of thing. So you want to make sure you use organic just to reduce your level of pollutants. So anyway, so there it is. And I shake it a little bit. I try to make sure it's all pretty much condensed down as much as possible. You can see it there. It's not quite full, probably about half to 2/3 of the way full is what you want of the cores and the peels. So then the next step is you want to add the sugar water. So I'm going to do 2 cups of sugar here to start because I know it's going to take at least that much. And then you want to add a tablespoon of sugar per 1 cup of water. And this is distilled water. You could also use purified or filtered water. So I'm using 1 tablespoon of sugar per 1 cup of water. So I'm putting 2 tablespoons in 16 ounces. And then you have to stir it until it's mostly dissolved, which will take a couple minutes. Okay, it's getting there. Okay, then I pour it in. I know it's not fully dissolved yet, but it's close. That's actually quite full. I'm thinking I'm only going to need another half a cup, probably. So, okay, that's got a half a cup. A little more sugar. That might need 6 ounces. Okay, tiny little bit left. So basically you want to fill it until it's just up underneath where the threads start on the bottle or on the jar. Okay, and basically that's all you have to do to start. Then, sorry, I forgot one thing. Then I use a coffee filter to place over the top of the jar, because it needs to breathe while it's sitting, while it's fermenting. So you want to take the ring of the jar and leave the cover off, and you just twist it back on. Now if you have a regular jar, with a regular lid, then you just use the coffee filter or a piece of cheesecloth, and then you can just put a rubber band around it to seal it. And this is all you do, and you have to leave it for 2 weeks. 2 weeks in a dark, cool place out of direct sunlight. You don't want it in the sunlight. So we're going to put this over here and leave it there for 2 weeks. And each day, or every other day, it would be better to do it each day. This is a jar batch that I started 2 weeks ago, which is ready to go. And you have to stir it once each day, like I'm doing right now, okay? And if you look closely, you can even see this one is still foaming. You're going to see this happening in your batch. This means it's fermenting, okay? So this one's ready to go. So we're going to start the next phase. So after 2 weeks, of your apple and sugar water mixture has been sitting on your counter fermenting, this is the next stage. So let's get this out of here. What we're going to do is I'm going to rinse this out. Okay. And we're going to use it again. And basically I use a cheesecloth, double layer. As you can see here, this is it's a double layer. I'll fold it in half. Okay, and I lay it over my measuring cup, and I dip it in and, you know, get it secured. And then I basically strain it through the cheesecloth. Yeah, that's definitely full. Okay. And then I have another clean mason jar. Okay, I have to gently do this. Squeeze out. Okay, and then you just pour it in. So at this stage, it's not vinegar, okay? It's not quite there yet. It hasn't gotten that really tart, pungent smell that vinegar has. It's more of a sweet apple cider smell right now, okay? And you want to keep doing this until you get it all out. Oops. Okay, let's see if I can get this to do this right. All right. And then this should be it for. This is not going through. So you might get some buildup in the cheesecloth and it doesn't go through. You just have to work it so it finally strains through. The whining in the background, if you hear the whining, that is my black lab. He's not happy that he has to sit in the hallway right now. Alrighty, let's see here. So, okay, I squeezed it out again. It's good for the skin too, by the way. Okay, and I should be able to finish it off this time. I'm gonna put this on there. Get it off there. Okay. Keep reusing the cheesecloth. If you have a bigger container with more cheesecloth, go for it. And you can do this all in one shot. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze some of this stuff out. Okay, so once you have all of the apples strained out and you've squeezed out the meat to get as much of the fluid out, this is pretty much how much I got out of that batch that sat for 2 weeks. So now, you have to take the ring again, or if you have a regular jar, you take the coffee filter, you either put the ring on there or you take a rubber band and you wrap it around. And you do the same thing you did with that, with the first batch. And you sit this out of direct sunlight in a cool, dry place. This has to sit for 4 weeks before it's ready to use. And once it's ready, you'll be able to smell it. It smells like vinegar. Right now, it's got a sweet cidery kind of smell. But after about 4 weeks of sitting there, it's going to smell like vinegar. And there's nothing else you need to do but leave it there for 4 weeks. So, and then here's another batch that I made a while ago. And as you can see, on the bottom, you'll see that there's residue. I just shook it up. When you're ready to use your vinegar, anytime you're ready to use it, you have to shake it up a little bit to get that residue on the bottom to blend in. It's called the mother. Mother's necessary. It's important. That's part of what makes it so good for you, because that's the living part of the apple cider vinegar. So, and if you really don't want to make your own, you can always buy Bragg. This is a jar that I saved and I reuse. But this jar is for Bragg raw apple cider vinegar, and you can get it at Wegmans or Tops, or probably your local grocery store, wherever you are. But I like mine better because it has a milder taste. So if you're not partial to the extremely pungent, strong cider vinegar taste or smell, you might want to try making your own. So that's it. And if you're interested in the instructions on how to make this, they are available on my website under recipes, under vinegars and salad dressings. And you can check them out. Sorry, my dog distracted me. You can check them out. You can check it out there. You can print out a copy of the instructions so you can follow along that way. So that's it. And good luck and have a great day.